I remember the exact moment my world tilted on its axis. It wasn't a scream, a crash, or a confession. It was a joke. A joke she thought was harmless. We were sitting in our small, dimly lit living room. The kind of evening where the hum of the refrigerator and the distant traffic were the only sounds breaking the quiet. Mia laughed, a soft, teasing sound that usually warmed me, but that night it landed differently. "You know," she said, twirling her wine glass between her fingers, "sometimes I wonder if Tom, my ex, was bigger." She grinned, expecting me to laugh, to brush it off. I froze mid-sip, feeling my throat tighten. My heart hammered against my ribs like it wanted to escape. A million replies flashed through my mind. Angry ones, sarcastic ones. But the one I delivered was calm, almost lethally so. "I hope he was happy," I said, my voice flat. "Because I wouldn't want you wasting your time thinking about him now." Her laughter faltered, a twitch at the corner of her mouth. Her eyes, usually so playful, narrowed slightly. The joke she expected to sail through the room, leaving us both laughing, hung between us like smoke from a smoldering fire. I should have walked away. I should have gone for a long drive, cleared my head. But something inside me, something I hadn't felt in years, refused to let it go. That night I stayed. And I watched. Mia and I had been married for 7 years. By all appearances we were perfect. Shared friends, shared vacations, shared bills. But perfection, I realized, is often the best disguise for betrayal. The seed of doubt that joke planted didn't grow overnight. It festered. The next morning I found myself scrolling through her phone. It wasn't rational. It wasn't fair. But trust, once cracked, has a way of turning even the sanest person into a sleuth. And what I found was worse than I imagined. Text messages between Mia and Tom. Flirtatious at first, teasing like a dance neither of them wanted to stop. And then it escalated. Photos, late-night meetups, words of longing, hidden behind innocent emojis. My stomach churned, bile rising at the back of my throat. I remember sitting on the edge of our bed, staring at the wall, numb. The woman who had promised me forever had been living a secret life right under my nose. And worse, I realized I had suspected nothing. Her laugh, her touch, her soft whispers, everything felt like a lie now. That evening, I didn't confront her immediately. I needed clarity. I followed her to a cafe she said she was meeting a friend at. I watched from a distance as she sat across from Tom, their hands brushing lightly over coffee cups. She laughed at something he said, leaning in just a little too close. The sight pierced me in a way I hadn't expected. Anger, heartbreak, disbelief, all blending into a sharp, cold pain that settled into my chest. I wanted to storm in, scream, demand answers, but I didn't. I waited. I observed. When she finally walked home, she was smiling, unaware that I had seen everything. I didn't greet her. I just sat there in the dark living room, waiting. "Why are you so quiet?" Mia asked, her voice light, teasing. "You look like someone just told you your dog ran away." I looked at her, really looked at her, for the first time in months. The sparkle that had drawn me to her seemed dull, strained. I said nothing. Silence can be sharper than any accusation. She frowned. "What's wrong? Did I do something?" "You did," I said quietly, my voice steady but heavy with meaning. "You chose someone else." Her smile faltered, and her eyes widened. "What are you talking about?" she asked, but her voice had lost its usual confidence. I pulled out her phone from my coat pocket. I didn't even have to speak. The evidence glared back at her. Timestamps, messages, photos. Her breath hitched, a small, involuntary gasp. I don't know what to say," she stammered, her hands trembling. "You don't need to say anything," I said. "I already know. I saw everything." The room was silent except for the hum of the refrigerator, and in that silence, I felt a strange, hollow relief. I had confirmed my worst fears, but I had also finally let myself face the truth. Mia sat down across from me at the kitchen table. Her eyes filled with guilt, shame, and fear. She reached out to touch my hand, but I pulled mine back. "How long?" I asked softly, trying not to let the rage I felt spill over. Since before our last anniversary, she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. I swallowed hard. Memories of that night came flooding back. Her laughter, the way she leaned into me, her whispered promises. They had all been lies. Why? Asked. Not why she cheated, not why she lied, but why she felt the need to destroy the world we built together. She didn't answer. She just shook her head, tears spilling freely now. I don't know. I wasn't happy. I felt alive with him, like I forgot about the life I had here. But it's not like I don't love you. Her words, meant to soften the blow, did nothing but sharpen it. Love. How could love exist alongside betrayal? I wanted to scream, to cry, to vanish into the night, but I couldn't. I stayed. I listened. I let the betrayal wash over me like icy water. Days passed, but the world didn't return to normal. Every glance, every word between us was now laced with suspicion. Trust, once broken, leaves invisible scars that no apology can erase. I tried to confront her, to demand explanations, to salvage the fragments of our marriage. But each conversation ended in tears, frustration, or silence. And I realized something terrifying. Love alone couldn't fix this. Not when the foundation itself had been poisoned. The final confrontation came one night, a week later. I had spent the day in a haze of numbness, replaying the messages, the lies, the laughter that had always felt warm but now felt like betrayal. Mia, I said, my voice steady, stronger than I felt. I can't do this anymore. I can't live in a house built on lies. I loved you. I trusted you. And you broke me. She looked at me, tears streaming, her face pale. Please. Can change. We can work through this. I shook my head. It's too late. I can't unsee what I've seen. I can't undo the pain. Her hands reached for mine, desperate, pleading. Don't leave me, she whispered. But I had already left. Not physically. I couldn't bear to leave the house that held so many memories. But emotionally, I had stepped away from her, from the life we had shared, from the illusions that had kept me blind for so long. Weeks turned into months. We stayed together, but the intimacy, the laughter, the comfort, all of it had vanished. Every conversation was a careful dance around a chasm we could no longer cross. I went to work, I came home, I existed. But I didn't live. And sometimes late at night, when the house was silent except for my own breathing, I remembered that night. The joke, the wine glass, the way her eyes had flickered when I didn't laugh. I remembered the calm in my voice as I responded. And I realized that moment, small and seemingly trivial, had been the first crack in the foundation. The moment I discovered betrayal had started with a smile, and ended with a lifetime of emptiness. Mia eventually moved out, leaving me with a house full of memories and silence. I didn't feel victorious, didn't feel relief. Only a deep, aching void where trust and love once lived. I learned something bitter that year. Some wounds never heal, some betrayals never fade, and some jokes are more dangerous than any truth. And I never laughed at one again.